When you delete a file in Git, it's not really gone. It's still there in Git's history. But accessing it and working with it can be a little tricky, as I discovered when I was giving corporate training in Git earlier this week. So let's just review a few things. I've got a repository here with two files in it. I've got myprog.py and I've got readme. And if I say git log minus minus one line, we can see that I have 4 commits in this repository. Head is pointing to main, and that's right here where I added doc strings. Before that, I added type checks. Before that, I added readme, and before that, I added myprog.py. Nothing too exciting here. How do I delete a file? Well, I delete it, right? I say rm of, let's say, readme.md. Actually, let's do myprog.py. It's a little more interesting. All right. Now, when I say git status, this is what Git is going to tell me. It's going to say, oh, you have removed myprog.py. But that just means that the file is gone from my working directory. It doesn't mean that Git knows anything in its database. It hasn't recorded that I have actually deleted it. And so in order to record in the database, I need to add a commit. I need to add a commit to Git. But how do I tell Git that this file's deletion is going to be included in that commit? I do something somewhat counterintuitive. I say git add myprog.py. And that's right, I have to add a file in order to delete it. So it seems a little counterintuitive, right? But I'm not really adding it to delete it. I'm adding it to the next commit. Remember that staging, git add, means this file should be included in the next commit. And now, sure enough, after I add it, it says, oh yeah, this is going to be committed that I deleted that file. And if I say now git commit, and let's say here, removed terrible program, there we go. That commit is now in there. If I say git log minus minus one line, sure enough, we see that I've removed it. If I do ls, it's gone. Fantastic. Except, what if I want to see what happened with this file in history, right? So I can usually say git log. I say git log of readme.md, right? And it'll show me in which in which commits I did things. I can say git log minus little p of readme.md. I can get all sorts of different things about it. What if I say git log of myprog.py? Well, Git's going to give me a funny kind of error message. It says ambiguous argument, unknown revision or path not in the working tree. Use minus minus to separate paths from revisions like this. Now, on the one hand, this error message is 100% accurate. On the other hand, it's not that helpful to people who are just starting off with Git. So what's going on? Typically, I can say git log. Let's do one line here again. I can say git log and give it a commit ID. I can say 2307, and it'll tell me what happened in that commit and backwards from there. Okay, so what? So if I say git log myprog.py, because the file is not currently in the directory, Git thinks that I'm referring to a commit ID. If I were to say git log readme.md, it would tell me all the commits that had to do with that file. But because I'm saying here git log myprog.py, I have to be a little sneakier. I have to say git log minus minus. And after the minus minus, I can then have a file, and Git knows that it's not talking about a commit ID. And if I say git log minus minus, there we go. Now I have all the commits from this file, even though that file was deleted in the past. Okay, well, how can I restore this file? Let's say I now say git log minus minus one line of my prog. And we see there were 4 commits in which I modified, updated, whatever the file. Let's say I want the version. I want the version from 2307. How can I do that? I can actually say git checkout 2307. If I were to stop there, that would take me that would move main into that commit ID in what we call detached head mode. That's not what I want. I don't want to move backwards in time and have my working directory change. I want to grab the version of the file from that commit. So I just say myprog.py. And look at this. I now say git status, and the file is here. Less of myprog.py. I see it. The file is indeed here. And so now, because it's even staged, I can just say git commit, restored myprog.py. And sure enough, git status, now working directory is clean. ls, I have this here. And now if I say git log of myprog.py, because it's in the working directory, I don't have to use the minus minus there anymore. One last thing about deleting files. You saw before that I can remove the file, and then I can add the file to the next commit. And that's 2 different actions. I can also just say git rm myprog.py, and then it does both of those actions together. It both removes the file from the working directory and it adds it to the next commit. So working with deleted files can be a little tricky in Git, but as you see here, Git can handle all these situations and does it pretty well, assuming you sort of get into the same headspace and perspective that it wants you to have. I hope this was helpful. I know it's not my usual Python and Pandas fare, but lots of people use Git in the Python Pandas world, so I thought it was appropriate. Let me know what you think. You want more Git content? Let me know. Any questions? Add the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back real soon with everything having to do with Python and Pandas and Git. See you then.